I'll go ahead and record some of the credibility problems that emerge from Carnegie Mellon University's willingness to allow Amanda Harcourt and Yoko Ono to work with Gregory Carl and the Gutter Snipes in basically criminalizing me when I was trying to get help from a genocidal rampage. And there's a network of people in Sandbagger Media, Simon Sharma citizens, like George Galloway and so on, who settled on a script. They claim I was just after the pussy, but was hunting a virgin and had a blood craving, and so their pornographic genocide system needs to be protected as police work. What that means, in other words, is that they earmarked me for an extermination program and made up a song and dance. An example of how lacking in credibility this is. Wellsell Brom was the person who lured me to Mount Desert Island. They don't produce pictures of Wellsell Brom because he's the last person in the world that anybody would go to expecting to get good pussy, as they put it in the Wilkinsburg bookstore. There's a book called In Search of Good Pussy. I didn't make that up. So, I mean, where's the explanation going? It's a ploy, a brazen rabbit in the hat trick to protect the Gurdjieff Society, who were involved in constructing a Venus flytrap. Now, admittedly, they brain damaged me. Greg Carl's pussy ball script is called The Structuralist Approach to Musical Analysis. One of these spinner beanie dudes, Andrew, used to say big cut, no blood when somebody swung the baseball bat and missed. So the structuralist approach to musical analysis was these degenerates working with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, fabulating obsessively over Madguri Goto's virgin hymen as a structuralist approach to diverting information from ever getting into the public domain in such a way that people were warned and took precautions against what was obviously a planned genocide. So what they're doing is they're lining up kids with baseball bats who claim they don't like abortion, saying John Lennon is us. We stand with John Lennon, to cover for the AIDS attackers. That's what's really going on. It's loud and clear. It's very conspicuous. George Galloway can put on a helmet and come out with a baseball bat and say anything he wants. But what it means is he's selling a fraud to cover for the AIDS attack. Now, they say that I wanted a virgin. One of my girlfriends says everybody thinks about virginity from time to time. They had this pleasure, unrequited virginity used for neurohypnosis. They rubbed her virgin muff on my tongue for hours. So naturally, I was curious about the structuralist approach to musical analysis. What sort of joy would come from consummation? But I never got permission, so I never got a chance, because to me, permission and opportunity are the same thing in consensual sex. But aha, these geniuses saying that Wilzo Brum was my idea of a favorite pimp, which is ridiculous. To protect Robert Fripp's fabulations from Toya Wilcox. Oh, the language is so Pittsburgh reject that they're willing to say that virginity proves rape. And they come flying down on their broomsticks. We're Puff the Magic Dragon. We're going to play all of the royal ambiguities in Grimm's fairy tales. They have this guy named We Will Kill Her. I mean, it gets tiresome because it lacks credibility. It doesn't mean it lacks poison. They deafened me. They tortured me. They gave me Parkinson's. They're obviously vicious fiends. They're real in that way. But it's fabulation. It's imaginary. They live in Yoko Ono is projecting her imaginary ideas of what reality is. Her plastic reality vanguard, which includes Mel Gibson, Penis Gabriel, to say that Wilzo Brown was my going to meet him at 5 o'clock in a freezing morning with a toothache and $20 in my pocket on a one-way trip to Maine from Pittsburgh because I wanted to know about the Gurdjieff Society. It was me looking for pussy. It's not only lacks credibility, sir, madam, surely your forgiveness I'm for. It's an indecent absurdity that they are asking you to defend in order to evade squaring up with what really happened in that Society for Human Ecology. They used to say, gentlemen didn't read other gentlemen's mail. That was before the Postal Union came along. Because the Postal Union was involved in planting the letters and then claiming, aha, we discovered them. And of course, it was partly to get even with my father for his human rights stand in opposition to the Vietnam War. So he abandoned his son. So let's make Jimmy a little crucified abortion. And this is the ritual purpose in government. And the Swami knows to come and say, oh, yes, it's a cosmic insight masquerading as a lampoon, wrapped in an enigma, shrouded as a riddle, and signed Penis Gabriel. It's ridiculous. Hogswash. And anybody who looked at Wilzo Brum for a second would see that it's ridiculous hogwash. Curry didn't go anywhere near that person thinking he was going to get laid. There was an altogether different motive, which was to find out what the hell these people thought they were doing.